What is up, guys? I told you that I'd be back for another review of Wandavision, and here it is, episode 3. Now, I said that this was going to be a better episode because that's normally what TV shows do, with the exception of like CW stuff. They normally put in like filler episodes, which is fine when the characters are well written, but normally in shows that are a big budget like this show, you don't want to see that. You want it to be all about story. I mean, you can have good characters too, but you don't want any filler. I don't really think that any of the episodes before have been filler, and I don't think this one is either, because we start to see in this episode Wanda kind of being a little bit darker. And I heard a fan theory not too long ago that she could be the enemy for the Avengers in future movies, and I'm really starting to see it with this one, and it's really interesting to see how far they're going to go with this. Could you imagine the Avengers fighting like a former Avenger, like a friend turned enemy? That'd be just crazy. So in this episode, Wanda, her pregnancy is speeding up very fast, and she gives birth in this episode to the twins, I believe. Speed and Wiccan are their names in the comics, and it'll be interesting if we get to see them grown up. But what's interesting here is what happens like as they're being born, or maybe it's slightly after. But the stinger here is towards the last 10 minutes of the episode, where Wanda is talking to Geraldine, and she's talking about how she was a twin and she had a brother, her name was Pietro. There's many fan theories. We might see him again. We might even see the X-Men version of him from the Fox movies, which would be interesting, but it's possible now. But she talks about that, and then Geraldine, I don't know if she let it slip or if she was remembering something, or if she's actually like undercover there, but she let it slip that he was killed by Ultron, and that tipped off Wanda that she's fully aware of everything. And we don't know exactly if somebody is doing this to Wanda, because it's implied, as it has been in the trailers and whatnot, but clearly we see that she's in control here. We learned from the last episode, and we also learned from this episode, because she just flew Geraldine out, and we see just how widespread this is, and that it's an entire town that was basically taken over, but which is no shock. But it's interesting in that Agnes and, is it Bert? I don't know. The person that Agnes is talking to at the end of the episode, they clearly know that something is going on too. And there's been a bunch of fan speculation that Mephisto is the guy that Agnes is talking to, which could be interesting, but it doesn't really look like both of them are in full control, which is interesting. But over the past week or so, I've had the time to speculate on what was happening, and we see that Westview is for the children. They're doing the stuff that they do for the children, and I think that those children, shocker, are the children that Wanda just had. So it really looks like they're doing the whole deal with Mephisto thing, and it's going to be really interesting to see if Wanda has actually created Vision, or if Vision is really back, or if she actually gave birth to twins. It's going to be really sad though if all of this is an illusion. I don't think Vision is, but the kids, that's going to be an interesting thing. But we do get a new advertisement, which I'm pretty sure they're all connected somehow, and this one was very blunt in its advertising, and it's Hydra soak. So clearly Hydra is somehow involved in this season. There's also been some theories hanging around the internet that it could tie in with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't think that's going to happen. I really wish it would. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and more tie-ins with other shows that weren't directly created by Marvel Studios, the better. It'll be interesting to see if we get Daredevil and Spider-Man 3, by the way. Yeah, Hydra is definitely going to play a key part in this somewhere. Probably the flashback scene that we allegedly have seen in the trailers where Wanda gets her powers. I don't know. We know about Strucker, we know about Stark Industries, the toast maker. I think maybe the toast maker, because it sounded like a bomb that was going to go off. And I think that that is representative of the missile that killed her parents, because it was a Stark Industries missile and nearly killed her. And I think the watch is her like showing that she came in contact with Strucker, and then Hydra Soak, maybe that's her getting her powers or whatever. I don't know. I think this is all connected to her origin, obviously, but I'm very excited to see where they go with this, because Wanda is super powerful in the comics, and if she's the one really creating this false reality, then it's going to be even crazier to see what they do, because she's connected with Doctor Strange too, and allegedly Spider-Man 3, because Doctor Strange is connected to that. So I'm excited to see what happens next. I've also been just scrolling through the internet, and I've been surprised at the amount of people who don't like the show. I saw one person comment, could barely get through WandaVision, that's not Marvel. And I'm like, who are you to decide what is Marvel and what isn't? I mean, you got the characters, you've got the great writing, and you've got a unique flair to this show. There really isn't anything quite like this show, unless you count the actual sitcoms that they're mimicking. But it's interesting in that it's a TV show and it's mimicking other TV shows, and Wanda's aware of that. I wonder if we'll get some fourth wall breaking with all this. TV show within a TV show, I don't know. Probably not. I hope not. I think the only person that should be able to break the fourth wall in Marvel movies is Deadpool and Stan Lee, but Stan Lee unfortunately passed. But I'd give this episode a little bit higher rating. I'd probably give it a 9. It's also in color, so it's more bearable for my eyes to see. I like watching black and white movies, but when I know something has been turned black and white, with the exception of Logan Noir, it just seems off to me. Yeah, I'd give this episode a 9 out of 10. I'm looking forward to the rest, and I'm really looking forward to what Marvel has to offer in the future. Thanks for watching.